Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
let's wait more minutes for people to join the meeting. I will inform everybody that the meeting starts in our Discord.
Hendrik, you're somewhere interesting. You're in New York.
I'm in New York. And actually, the idea was that a lot of people are now here with me in the room, but Sophie is currently giving a session about the good first issues and
Ah,
contributor growth of the Python SDK. And it's so good. I see it with one eye. Everybody else is listening to that session. So I'm alone here.
nice. Who all is there this week?
I mean, so currently we
Jessica,
have,
Sophie, Andrew.
yeah. Jessica is here, Sophie is here, Andrew is here, Rob is here, Simi is here. That's the people at the maintainer days for the Hiero project. I Tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, there's a member summit from LFDT. I don't know if there are some others will attend. Maybe like from Hedera. I don't know. Um, but yeah, it's a really nice event, and I think it's a very good exchange, or it's a very good connection between the projects of LFDT we had yesterday. A very good presentation about the mentorship program, and the Fabric team gave an overview on how they used the mentorship program the last 2 years, and we already have some good ideas how we could like use a mentorship program to create project collaboration, like using the program to create a project that shows how Web3j can be used to create connection and interaction to an Hiro network, or things like that. So I think it's a very good event here.
Awesome.
Now we are coming. Hey, everybody. Yeah, sadly, some people are not here because of the winter storm that was in New York. I was happy I was one day earlier because I wanted to have some time to fight the jet lag. But a lot of people like delayed, arrived today or late yesterday. Yeah, good. So let me share the agenda for today, if I find it. So, okay, so welcome to the TSC meeting of the Hiero project. Like any of our meetings we do at the Hiero project, this is a public meeting. Everybody can join this meeting and attend. For that, we have a public calendar, which is linked on our webpage in most of the agendas and so on, where you can find an overview about all our meetings with an easy way to, join it by just having the Zoom link, and even for past meetings, like when I go to the TSC meeting of last week, getting an overview of the meeting and even a recording. So even if you miss a meeting, you can easily have a look at it. And while all those meetings are public meetings and really everybody can join, and bring in topics and discuss with us, because everybody of you can easily unmute in Zoom and ask questions or bring in topics. Being that open means we have some general rules, which is the code of conduct of the Linux Foundation. It's linked here, and the antitrust policy of the Linux Foundation. And in general, this means please be nice to everybody here in the meeting. Feel free to unmute yourself, ask questions, but even in discussion, please do it always in a friendly manner, and then we are all good. Which brings us to the agenda for today. Um, so I will start with a short overview of the last TSC call. And what we did last week is we had a guest from the Linux Foundation, and he gave an overview on the LF mentorship program that allows LF projects and LFDT projects for sure to create projects that are mentored by persons out of the community, and even has some resources like grants that allow to pay the mentees that are attending those mentorship programs. And next to that, we had the approval of an HIP that was done by an asynchronous voting. It was HIP 1313. And at the end, we had some discussions about the structure of our HIP repository and how Hashgraph online topics will fit into that. And we stopped at that discussion based on, the time. And since Michael Cantor is today not here, he has an appointment and is not able to join the TSC call. He asked me to wait for him to continue that discussion because he's heavily involved into it, and I think it makes totally sense to not discuss that topic without Michael Cantor being here in the meeting. So just to say, we will postpone that topic then maybe to next week. So that's a short overview of our last TSC call. And as I said at the beginning, people are not here in the room because they are watching Sophie's session. Sophie is now here with me. She's done. We finally met in person. That's always awesome meeting people from the community. The next topic here is, oh yeah, she did an awesome job showing our good first issue initiative and the results on the Python SDK. I've seen today, I checked it today, the Python SDK has now over 120 contributors. That is so huge. Anyway, let's come to updates and any events that people of you have and would like to share with the community. So anybody of you would like to share any information on any upcoming events or any interesting topics that happened around Hiero? Okay, great. Which brings us to, oh yeah, just a reminder, I already talked about our public calendar. For sure, next to our public meetings, we have our Discord that should be used for public communication in the community. So if you haven't, please join the Discord and join our discussions there. And the next topics are hips. So let me open the hip board. Here, I know we have some that are or that will come to the TSC in near future. We're talking about the four here on top. Since I don't know, is there nobody told me to add a specific hip on the agenda today. Um, Michael Garber is here. Maybe you can give an update about the timeline of those hips, when to expect a next hip coming to the TSC.
Yeah, so 1340 and 1341 are the Pectra hips for the Pectra upgrade. I expect these to be in front of TSC pretty soon. The authors and the working group were all kind of in agreement that we've approved this to put it into last call. So given what we've been doing typically in the past, I would say uh within 2 weeks to be reviewed by us. Does that sound
Sounds
right, Richard?
It
Sorry
certainly
for
sounds
giving
like
you
a reasonable time frame.
reasonable time frame. Thank you. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, perfect. So some hips will come up the next weeks. That's great to know. What we have today is a project proposal, and I see Alexander is here, and he asked me to put his project proposal about the Hiero Identity platform on the agenda of the tech meeting today. Oh, the TSC meeting. It's not the tech, sorry. So Alexander, can you give an introduction and overview on that project and what is behind it? Do you want that I stop sharing, and have you something prepared that you want to show how you want to do that?
Hello, everyone. I don't have any slides, but maybe it will be good if I will just scroll through the proposal. Why
Sure.
not?
Then let's do it like that.
Give me a second.
Hello everyone. Actually, I have some slides, but Alex, go ahead. I will show some screenshots and so on after your part.
Okay.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Give me a second. Here it is. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. So, my name is Alexander. I'm representing the SR team, and we're heavily involved with higher identity work and primary maintainers of current higher identity repositories, including SDKs and higher identity hub. And we'd like to propose a new project called Higher Identity Platform. It's essentially, we're proposing to contribute a complete set of end applications that allow to work with verifiable credentials and higher identity, specifically mobile wallet and backend service. So higher identity community and other participants of community can take a look at the reference implementation example and even use these projects like for any project activity. They will be ready to use, not essentially for production, right? But still, they can be extended. And this code base, we propose it to be based on our product, basically, this RSSI toolkit code base, which is also based on some well-established identity frameworks, such as Open World Foundation Bifold and Open World Foundation Credo. Since we're going to bring existing code base to the Hiero, I think it's extremely important to align with TSC how we're going to build a community around it. So here we can see the scope, the protocols, and standards that we're going to support in these applications. And basically, expected outcomes, it will be a baseline identity solution for higher identity ecosystem. It can be deployed, extended, or forked by ecosystem participants. There will be less friction for developers building identity-enabled applications on Hiero because, well, was talking about where I mean DSR or other community calls, we're actually talking about how Hiero and Hedera have very significant competitive advantages in terms of performance and low costs for identity use cases, but there is no end-to-end examples and applications. And we think it's very important because for easier adoption of Hiero for identity use cases, it's really crucial to have some end-to-end at least examples, and we're willing to work on ready-to-use applications in this scope using our previously created code base partially. Also important interoperability, of course, reference implementation that demonstrates best practices, and increased community engagement around Hiero by getting some cross-community traction via decentralized identity use cases. So it's like attention and participation from broader identity community, non-Hiero communities like Open World Foundation and LFDT. And yeah, basically, I think, as I said, very important part is community building because we're bringing existing code base. If we're being completely honest, it's not ideal for community building, right? So there is no diversity in contributors and in initial contributors team, but we're planning some community building activities specifically to mitigate this. First of all, we expect some direction to Hiero from this project because there will be some applications that support Hiero identity out of the box, and broader identity community participants may come here, use this solution, and also contribute back. And also, we're planning to leverage some best practices that we see on other projects like Hiero SDK Python, of course, using some help and guidance from Sophie here. So it will be good to attract both Hiero community members and also external communities. Yeah, governance, nothing very specific here. As you can see, initial maintainers will be from our DSR team for now, but we look forward to introduce more committers and maintainers as we bring more community to it. And that's it for the short overview. Yeah, as I mentioned, I think the kind of a very good topic is community building. What do you think about that? And other TSC members, basically.
So should we do questions now, or should we first do the presentation from Renata about that topic?
Good question.
Let me show you some screenshots.
Yeah.
Advertisements.
Because maybe that answers already some questions.
Yeah. So it was an official part, and now it is more unofficial part for mostly for entertainment. So I will tell you some maybe addition overview that Alex made, and show you some production use cases, production screenshots, and so on. So why DSR started doing this in general? We're working with open source and with LFDT for last 10 years. Firstly with indie projects and working with identity and blockchain and general technologies. Last years also we were focused on EUDI standards because of regulations in Europe. And the last 2 years we were working on identity on Hedera and now with Hiero. Happy to be here and helping with this because we really believe in Hiero initiative, Hiero project. And after all, we have a set of products. They're in the phase of, I want to say, MVP. Because right now we see on identity market and also in blockchain in general that there are some challenges with adoption. Because like engineers, we are absolutely happy to develop specifications, libraries, and so on. And we are not big fans of creating UI and communicate with end clients. But unfortunately, it is required for having community, for having business in general. So that's why we want to suggest to add to Hiero scope of projects our products that were internally till the end of this year, and we're ready to make them open source. The most interesting part here, I think it is web application and mobile application. They're even available right now in stores and in our, we are hosting a web agency part for issuers, verifiers, and holders. The main idea that we need to use Hiero and Hiero Ledger like a real storage for some real data. And it is a way how to find new people in our to join for new people to join our community, people from identity worlds, people from other communities from LFTT. So we really believe that this set of products can help projects. Firstly, can help here. The first thing that we are going to open source it is mobile wallet, because it is cute and fancy, and people want to touch something on their smartphones, and we hope it will help. And the second important part here, it is agency backend for providing opportunity for issuing verifiable credentials and for verifying them. So it is the main idea that we want to propose to start and checking if community will be interested. Right now I can tell you that from other communities that I joined in identity, all of them worry about end client applications. There are a lot of different them, but nothing mostly in open source and finalized version in open source. And I think it can help people to use this like an example, and so on. So about standards here, we have different verifiable credentials standards. Interesting here can be mobile driver license also. So it is not only a product for working with one specific standard, one specific protocol, and actually not only for using Hiero, yes. But at the same time, it can be a way to look at other blockchain for identity. And there are actually not a lot right now and not in the best quality, in the best state. And it will be obvious that there is only one working case right now, for example, for uncreds and for many other stack of technologies, to use Hiero, DID Hiero and Hiero Ledger. So that's why we suggest this here. There is a set of benefits, features that we have here. And what is the most important here, I think it is that we have white label app. It's very easy. It will be very easy for people in community to adopt this to their use cases, to their applications, to try it. And also it is very modular. So we provide some modules that's possible to use with, of course, Apache 2.0. That's possible to use to build their applications, to try it in MVP phase, like a proof of concept, to check if it works for their business, for end clients. So that's it from my side. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. So, are there any questions from anybody? There are. Okay, I do hands up too, but I'm sorry. Let's start with Keith. Oh, and yeah, we both of us do hands up. Okay, great. So Keith, go first, please.
Yeah, I just want to add, yeah, so my name's Keith. I work at Hashgraph, and I've been working very closely with DSR on quite a few different projects. So, I would say just at a high level, I am very supportive of this project. The one kind of, I think, area of conversation probably would just be the name of the project. We probably will have some maybe contributions in a similar vein, and I do think like I don't know if just one project can take the namespace of Hiero identity. So maybe that's just a topic that we can discuss as we go through the questions. Is like what would be the name that we would call this project?
Okay, Richard.
Yeah, what's the first of all, thank you for the presentation. Second, what's the current status of the project code? Is the code itself closed source today? And if it is open source, what are some of the community metrics?
So it was in private right now. Literally this year we started open source needs. So that's why we don't have open community. We have a few countries and some other companies who want to use it and who already thinking about using. Speaking directly and friendly, I want to say that we were thinking about licensing and so on, and understood that it is easier to make it open source for everyone. So making this long story short, we have a set of people who are interested in using this. That's why we want to make it open source.
Understood. Thank you. And I assume that licensing would be Apache too, like the other
Sure.
Hiero projects.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
For things like that, we even now have like a check document for project onboarding that contains all those things like license check, is everything DCO signed, and all that. That is something we then need to do. That is what Jessica then will help you on. So my question is, Renata, when you showed the slide about the different pieces like the web UI, the authentication service, and so on and so on, and the mobile wallet. So is your idea to put all of that into one repository? Because that for me sounds like, for people to get into this code, a little bit complex to have like one repository with all those multiple things inside. So my question is, wouldn't it make more sense maybe to have this as one project, but with multiple repositories?
Actually, I think it can be a bit difficult from the start if there will be a lot of projects. It can be a bit confusing. In general, our set of projects, it is in general one project. It is some kind of toolkit, modular system that can be used for creating different applications. So that's why we suggest start with one repository, and if we see that there are a lot of community and not enough room for all of us, it makes sense to divide it.
Okay.
Yeah, and just a technical comment that all pieces there are on the same technological stack, so it's kind of easier to host them in the same repositories for a while.
Okay,
Not
I was
so- yeah.
okay. I was like, oh, there's maybe a Swift wallet and then a JavaScript
Yeah.
thing, and then maybe a backend somewhere. I have not seen the code. It makes totally sense. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point. It's all JavaScript stack, basically.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, Sophie.
So I really like the idea that this would add like to Hiero a new set of a new set of skills, because I know a lot of the community members in the Python SDK are always talking about, yeah, I'm here because I want to learn. I want to work on a variety of different things. I want to be challenged. So my question would be like, how would you want the community, what kind of contributions would you be looking for from the Hiero community?
We already have experience of working with students community, and it is amazing because they're so active. And we have a set of good first issues that can be interesting for them, challenging and interesting in general. But other direction that we want to use possibility of using these projects for creating their applications. Also for students, it can be interesting because of their startups, some pet projects, and so on, to touch an end client application to try it in the real world.
Great.
So we'll be happy to see students and people who are looking for challenges, and also maybe some business partners who really need it in production and who wants to improve it because of their needs also.
Yeah, and there will be both code and non-code tasks, I would say. And if we talk about easiest tasks possible for complete newbies, we can just say that web UI is a good place. So, of course, mobile application is a complex environment, but eventually we believe that new contributors will be able to learn a lot of new technologies, basically, because yes, it's JavaScript stack, but if we talk about mobile app, it's React Native app, so it also contains native code base, a bit Kotlin and Swift as a modules, while it's still JavaScript stack for the UI and for React Native stuff. So it's non-trivial environment partially, but I think some people will be able to learn a lot from starting their contributions with web UI and then taking a closer look and contributing something to mobile apps.
Could even be interesting for the mentorship to, that is maybe a good thing for mentorship to say like, hey, let's build something on top of that so that we have something running as an example. Alex.
Yes, my question was very similar to yours, Hendrik, with the multiple repositories and what do we do with the existing repositories that overlap in this space? So we have the did SDK JS, but also have a did SDK Python. So the different technology stacks there. Will the JavaScript repo get incorporated into this? Will it be merged into a separate repo? And how do we deal with the dependencies as we talked about in prior discussions around projects when they're dependent on externals, whether it's W3C, IEEE, etc. Here, it seems like trying to amalgamate or pull it into one repo could be problematic and you subject to forking versus keeping them somewhat independent from a structural perspective. So my thoughts are more to have this a more modularized approach towards a project rather than one monolithic repo, and also then having some of the segregations by tech stack, so it's easy to understand and navigate.
Yep, it's a good point, basically. So if we talk about existing repos like DID SDKs, so SDKs I think should remain as is because they are actual libraries that we provide and they can be used and used by other projects and also used by Open World Foundation plugins that enable Hedera support in, for example, Open World Foundation Credo and for Akapa as well. If we talk about code base that we're planning to include in scope of identity platform, these all will be applications, basically. They have some modular structure. For example, for mobile wallets, there are some separate packages that can be used with the main app and basically plugged in and out if end user wants it because it's white label app. So yeah, I don't have any immediate concerns about this code base being a direct dependency because these are not libraries. But in general, the discussion around multiple repositories and keeping things separate, for example, of course, separate repository for each application makes sense. Why not? So it's just like currently we're planning to start with mobile wallet and then gradually contribute the other parts of the code base. And then, yeah, currently we can just decide if we want, for example, to create a new repo for a wallet only currently and contribute it there and then agree that we're going to create separate repos for each other part. Yeah, here are my thoughts on that.
Okay, yeah, so open to having the separate repositories as this evolves.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think Keith was next. Is that correct? Or was it Angelina?
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to quickly add to what Alex just said in response to the other Alex's comments. Yeah, Alex, there's no change to we currently have three identity repos in Hiero, Python SDK, JavaScript SDK, and then the identity standards. So there's no change to this is a net new repo. And actually, I would believe, Alex, that this repo actually pulls in some of those other repos as dependencies. So yeah, there's no change. This is just a brand new repo that's being added.
Right, but given we have the JavaScript SDK, that seems like that would be folded under this.
No. They're all separate. Like Alex, DSR Alex, correct me if I'm wrong. Your project probably pulls in the JavaScript SDK as a dependency, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think the question is, should it be one project, multiple repos, or should it be even like multiple projects for Hiero? Which goes a little bit in the direction of showing, like maintainers and committers between all of them. Maybe that is something we should discuss, if that makes sense.
Yeah, interesting question. So, yeah, since we're contributing the code base, the list of maintainers will be the same, initial one. And it's just, I think, a matter of how will be more convenient or more correct from Hiero TSC perspective to do this. Do we have any other example of project that has multiple repos actually under Hiero? Yeah.
Yeah. Point we should discuss, but I don't want to give the hands up people first. So Angelina is next.
Hi, morning. My question
Hey.
would just be, thanks. Will the repository, assuming it just stays as one, will they also be planning to implement the GFI initiative moving forward?
GFI is good first issue, right?
Yes, the good first issue. This is used for those of you who don't know, it's just something that we are implementing to try to increase contributor engagement, trying to enhance our SDKs and stuff like that. We've had very good success with Python, C++ as well, and we do have two additional SDKs. I believe it's Swift and JavaScript are the two additional that we've just added on. So just curious to see if this repository will be participating in this as well.
Yes, eventually. So what we were planning to do is to outline good first issues that we already have. And of course, I saw the work on good first issues that happens on other repositories, and it's great. And we for sure will be following any guidelines available from our community members who work on this. So this is not an issue.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
I just want to add this point about maybe we should put them together into one project, because I'm thinking we do not need to set for each and every repository again, those are the maintainers, those are the committers separated. For things like that, I would really like to say, hey, we have the Hiero identity space as a project, however you want to name it. And that contains those repositories, and for the general space, we define maintainers. I think that could be a good thing from my point of view, which makes some things easier, better understandable, and maybe even make clear that those things are, like together in one group, in one topic section.
Yeah, this is interesting point. So if we talk about current Hiero identity projects, the list of maintainers is similar but still different in detail. And it's also usually bound to technological stack, because in future, if we'll talk about this approach in general, if the same initiative has repositories with different technologies, it's really will be natural to have some different committers and maintainers. They may be
Yeah.
from the same team, but yeah, for example, if we consider dedicated mobile developer, he will not be a maintainer of some SDK or backend application that is written on technology that he doesn't even use.
I don't know. I think that is something we should discuss. So I would say if you are a maintainer of the did space in Hiero, maybe then you can not, like just review something in the JavaScript did SDK because the code owner's file in that repo defines that those three people are really the right people to do reviews here. But we have those tooling and possibilities to say like, oh, you're a maintainer of the full did space, but when it comes to the JavaScript did, you cannot just, approve a proposal, a pull request because you're not a JavaScript developer. And I mean, let's take Keys as a very good example. He takes so much about all these topics, right? So for me, Keys is totally a maintainer of that area when it comes to identity, but he's not a developer contributing stuff to like the SDKs. But I would always say, yeah, for sure, he should be a maintainer because he cares, he helps people, he just helps now to get this proposal live and so on. That is my point of view here. Keith.
Maybe I missed something on the structure you're proposing, Henrik. Like, can I just make an analogy? Would you apply the same structure to the Hiero SDKs? Like we have the JavaScript SDK, the Java SDK, the C++ SDK. Like to me, like that analogy is very similar to the did SDKs. Like we have the Python did SDK, we have the JavaScript did SDK. In the future, we might have a Java did SDK. So it's just like for consistency's sake, what you're proposing for identity, would you do the same for the normal Hiero SDKs?
I was thinking about that, and if I take Rob, as a person, I would say like Rob for sure is a maintainer of all the SDKs, even if there are some SDKs where he not doing a lot of active contribution. He has this overview. He's doing the agendas for the meeting. He's moderating the SDK community code. He contributes a lot to some SDKs, to the TCK and all that. So I think we should think about it. I'm not saying that's a must, but think about it, and maybe even for the SDKs go in that direction could be correct and could be a good way.
Yes, I think code owner's functionality is really flexible, actually. So it can just replace all these different workarounds GitHub organization teams, and we will have more granular control here.
You can even do it like within one repo. That is what we have in Consensus Node. I mean, Consensus Node is highly modular, right? We could split Consensus Node in multiple repos because it's really modular and there are very good separation layers in the architecture of Consensus Node. We decided to have the whole code in one repository, which makes it easier to do releases and all of that. Which means we have a lot of people who are maintainers of Consensus Node, but only commit and contribute and review a dedicated part of the Consensus Node repo. And we did that in this repo with the code owners file, where we said, yeah, everybody's a maintainer, but we have code ownership separated in maybe 4 sections or layers. So there are ways, and we're learning more and more about that, where we, can maybe become more flexible and think about topics instead of thinking about repositories when it comes to mentorship and maintainership. Yeah. Just a, idea that just came when we're talking about this into my mind. Keith.
Oh, I just tried to lower my hand. Sorry.
Okay. So any other questions on the proposal? Okay, no other questions then. My suggestion would be, that is what we normally do for proposals, like we do not vote today on it. We will vote next week on it, which means people can have the week think about it. Maybe we have some questions next week. There are some people from the TSC missing today. And if there are no additional questions, concerns next week, I would suggest to do a voting on it next week if we are enough people from the TSC. Otherwise, do an asynchronous voting that starts next week. And Alexander and Renata, you, if you want, can always contact me so that I can connect you with Jessica, and we together can have a look on, from a technical perspective, how to bring everything in Hiero, what need to be checked regarding, commit history, regarding licenses, and all that, because that always takes some time, and we could always start to have a look at it if you want to.
Okay, thanks. And
Sure.
I think we wanted also to talk about naming, right? This topic was brought up by Keith. So
You're right. Yeah.
if all are okay with getting a higher identity platform name for this project.
Yeah, I would just say that as I said, that's the one actually we've had other companies come to us and also want to call their projects Hiero Identity, and I'm sure maybe in the future we will as well. So I think we just need some differentiation. Like we need like in the Open Wallet Foundation, they have many wallets and they call them things like Credo, or like they have kind of code names for them. So I would prefer if it had like just some sort of differentiating name, just so that if we get other similar projects in the future, we can say, oh, well, that's the Kingfisher project, or that's the Stork project, or that's like we need to some further identifier.
Yeah,
That was
I
all.
like that idea.
That was always what I wanted to do. Also, like I was never really happy that we called it, Hiero consensus node. I was like, well, that's boring and non-differentiatable. But we ran out of time to come up with good names, and we all looked at each other and said, okay, whatever, just ship it. We can change the name later. So yeah, I don't know how to help you. I mean, we have like Hiero is obviously Egyptian. There's some set of Egyptian names you can use. Other projects out there in the world are already using those. So I don't know if we want to do a theme, or if we just say, you know what, knock yourself out, come up with something that sounds cool, and we'll just roll with it. I'm not sure.
I mean, at the moment we have two projects in Hiero that has really those like brand names. The one is Solo, and the other one is, and I'm actually missed the name. It's the the second JSON RCP relay that we have, which is called. How could I miss that name? Hederium, Hiero Hederium. So we have Hiero Solo and Hiero Hederium as two samples, and yeah, having something like that, I think that would be a good direction. Brandon.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in here and share some thoughts on naming. But to be honest, Richard, you're the Egyptian theme. That's pretty crazy. I kind of like that. But I was just going to say too. I think that some other useful ways to look at how things are named in the projects are, you know, I think that some of the projects that are going to be contributed to Hiero most likely also kind of have depending on the level of maturity, like their own communities, potentially their own brand, their own kind of like identity as a group or whatever. And then also maybe there's some kind of like attribution factor or something like that. So I think that like it keeps coming up in the group talking about what to name things, what to call things, and I think that it gets my mind thinking about like the purpose of that, the benefits of it, what does it mean for the project being contributed, how does it impact Hiero? I think that there's been a lot of thoughtful discussion here, and I just want to kind of throw my hat in and kind of agree with a lot of the points here in regards to naming and stuff. Because I think that definitely creates like a colorful ecosystem. And I think the ultimate goal of Hiero is, yeah, to like have this flourishing garden of all these wonderful projects. So I definitely love the conversations about naming, and I think that yeah, the attribution aspect also plays a factor as well.
And just to chime in, we're trying to avoid more of the overlapping acronyms, so we could have HIPs of HIP here of the identity platform. So it could add to some confusion there as well. So just another consideration.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I think we need to think about the naming and maybe have some options on the next meeting where when we will be voting. I will probably post some of our ideas to the proposal itself as a comment, and yeah.
Okay. So that was like everything we had on the official agenda. We have 10 minutes left. So are there any other topics you would like to discuss? Okay, nobody has any other topics. I would like to bring in one topic. So since I'm currently here at the LFDT Member Days Summit, I don't know the correct name. We talked a lot here about mentorship. We had this presentation last week already here in the TSC meeting about LF mentorship, and yesterday there was a great presentation from the maintainers of Fabric who gave an overview how they attended the LF mentorship successfully over the last 2 years with some projects. And I think we learned a lot of it. Sophia and I already started to discuss some things. I would like to set up a community meeting kind of thing to correct ideas coming from the project for mentorship, because while in theory every project within Hiero can apply for that mentorship program and should do, I think it would be great if we as Hiero, work the project under Hiero work together and came up with maybe a handful of ideas for the LF mentorship that we can then submit in February to LF, and they then will be reviewed by LFDT. And instead of having now different groups within the Hiero working together, I would like to really create a community for that to move things forward, especially with now some people like Rob and Andrew and Sophie and me who are currently here have learned so much about mentorship, and we would totally like to share that with others. Like as an example, this new DIT platform where I can assume having a mentee build something on that could be a good idea. Yeah, that's just something I would like to bring in, and maybe there are even some people here or some people who would be possible mentees for Hiero. So if you already know some people, maybe you can already share that we're planning to attend this year the LF mentorship program, and we'll provide some hopefully good projects people can work on and even get some money out of that work. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share. And if there are no other questions or topics, we can end 5 minutes early. Nobody? Good. Okay, then thank you for being part of the meeting, and see you all in any upcoming Hiero meeting. Maybe some of you even later this week in New York, and otherwise at least next week on the TSC meeting. Perfect. See you. Bye.
Thanks very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you a lot. Have a good membership summit. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, thanks.